Greetings! Today we discuss Big Town Banky Blaine's Rockabilly BBQ from Jiminy, Guy Fieri's future with us, and so much more on this episode of Bear Ghost Invents the Podcast!
Ahoy boogers, and welcome back to another episode of Bear Ghost Invents the Podcast, a podcast where we plunge into the who's its and what's its galore of the inner workings of Bear Ghost. I am Ryan.
I am Andrew.
I am the Buttons.
And I am Tickbot.
It is so good to be with you again today, where we will be discussing Big Town Banky Blaine's Rockabilly BBQ. I genuinely forgot the name of that song for a second. I wanted to say Bacon Blades Billy Barbecue.
So we talked on the last episode about how one of our fans in our Discord put our song into a program and it tried to decipher it. And here's a few snippets from Barbecue. Red lights, what's cooking? Smells to me just like a PB and fees. Bring on my dad, prosperous behind it. That's the end. This one, I genuinely don't know where in the song this is, but it says, here comes Tilly. It's to the left, it's to the right. Follow the wind. And I don't know what part of the song
I'm going to get that on a plaque for my kid's bedroom.
Put it on like one of those cat hanging off the ledge.
Here
posters.
comes Tilly.
And then this one says, head kicked out, bacon blades, Billy barbecued.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I wish Bacon Blades was in the chorus of that song.
Bacon blades.
Head kicked out, Bacon Blades, Billy barbecued. Awesome. Perfect. 10 out of 10. Thank you, Tigbot.
Of course.
Big Town Banky Blaine's Rockabilly BBQ, or BTBBRBBQ, as some people have come to call it. Us first.
Yeah.
We were the first ones to do that.
We did that.
In the song.
So, yeah.
This song title actually was written before anything was written for this song.
This is another song where Andrew wrote a song title, and we worked backwards from there. I think it just invokes a lot of imagery. And
Golly. Follow the wind.
Uh-oh, here comes Tilly.
You never know where that Tilly's coming from.
I wrote an intro for the tour we went on in 2019 and wanted to turn it into a full song. So I basically put that as the bridge and kind of worked backwards from there using Andrew's title in mind. And then the further along I got into it, just as I always do, I gave Andrew a concept. I want it to be this. I gave him some vocal melodies, and he just cranked out this, I don't even know, man.
Perfect time for his joke right there. Am I right?
Don't look at me.
I mean, you're the one who gets at him.
I gotta reboot Tigbot.
And out came the lyrics to BTBBRBBQ.
Before that, actually, we had gone through several concepts of lyrics for this song.
I don't recall.
Originally, because of the title, we tried to write an actual rockabilly song, and I wrote a song that was going to tie into the Stephen Bradley saga. And it was about a guy that was down on his luck, like had lost his job and didn't have anything, and he went to go drink his sorrows away at this barbecue joint or whatever. And as it stands right now in the song, the restaurant itself is like a character. In this draft, it was not. It was just a setting. And he met this girl, and they started hitting it off, and he was like super excited. And there was little nods to the bartender that was kind of being like a wingman to him the whole night throughout the song. But then it turns out at the end that the bartender was a Stephen Bradley, and she left with him. And then she's the girl that...
Dang, that's a pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
And then for some reason I came in and was just like, do something dumber.
No, because I wrote a whole draft of lyrics with this concept in mind before you had written any music, just keeping rockabilly in my head. And I was going over it in my head after I'd finished it, and I was like, this is literally Rock This Town by the Stray Cats. It was like literally the exact melody, the exact tempo, the exact
lyrics.
key. It was the same lyrics. And so I was like, well, I can't do any of that. So I scrapped it. And then we started writing it about a couple who were there for dinner, and when they were leaving, the guy's partner was murdered, and it was like a hate crime. And then he left and had this whole mental breakdown and came back and just like slaughtered everybody in the restaurant.
Yeah.
But that was really dark. And
that's when I came up with my concept, because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I understand where you're at, but let's say something with the song and let's keep the violence, but not make it's hard, man. There is definitely gratuitous violence in our songs, but I never want it to sound like it's glorifying that.
No.
It's like kind of having fun with it, but it's supposed to make you be like, oh, this is gross. This is sad. This sucks. And then right after we released that song, Squid Game came out.
Oh, that's right. Really?
Yeah.
We came up with the idea with the restaurant first. It wasn't necessarily about capitalism at first. And then I started writing lyrics around something that had happened to me. I used to work at Target when I was younger. I was in the running to be promoted. And they gave me this big project to work on. And I was doing overnights and like rebuilding the whole back of the store or whatever. And there was this guy, Luis, that worked with me there who was helping me with the whole project. He did everything that I did and did just as much as I did. And then when I went to go do some mock interviews with my boss to like prepare me for my promotion interview with the corporate office, and she was asking me questions like, tell me about this project that you got, because it's supposed to be this big like thing that I did. And look how great I am. And I was like, oh yeah, me and Luis did this and this and this and this. And she was just like, don't mention Luis. You need to make it all about yourself. But he did just as much as I did. That's f***ed up. And their whole thing about coaching me for it was they're just like, don't give anybody else credit. You need to take all the credit so that you can get this position. That's where the whole fight ring thing came up to me, where they're like having these people fight and like whoever wins gets a big bag of money and you get the night off. And then the other person just gets murdered.
Poor Luis.
Yeah.
I am
Andrew
making
had
like,
to do it himself too.
I'm making like $8 an hour and fighting to get like a $2
What
an hour
a
raise.
brag. In this economy, you can buy 3 or 4 houses
This
with
was
that.
back in like 2012.
What? You could have bought 5 or 6 houses back then.
But I was making like $8 an hour and I was vying for this promotion to give me a $2 an hour raise and fight over it, you little tiny bitch.
They
Yeah.
said that?
Yeah.
I did.
Wow.
I think you knocked it out of the park. Initially, when we wrote this song, we had been working on it for a long time, and it was just like the boom da doom da doom da doom da doom da doom da doom.
Oh, the tempo.
Yeah, we were working on it, and it just
I wasn't vibing. It was just like,
It sucked.
it was
yeah.
weird. Yeah, we were.
all the chord progressions were all there. It just wasn't working, and so
You show up at practice one day, like, hey, can you put the metronome to double the tempo?
And me and Buttons looked at Ryan and were like, what are you talking about?
yeah, we were already having kind of trouble playing the parts because even though they were slow, they felt kind of complicated.
I was struggling with that day. He told me to up the tempo, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to play this?
But
And
it
We
brought the
both
song.
did. I had
Yeah,
I had to learn how to play that fast.
It brought the song to life, though, and that ended up sparking everything for me. Made me write a guitar solo and a kind of like ragtime piano parts in this song, which I don't know how to write ragtime, so hopefully it came out okay.
When Ryan first showed us Star Killer, the lead he plays at the beginning of the song, he showed me, and I was like, cool, what do I play? He's like, you play that. And I was like, I'm not playing that.
Yeah.
So I made him write a chord progression underneath it that I could play because I was like, there's no way I'm playing that on the bass. But then when this song happened, I told him the same thing. I was like, we need to make a chord progression. And he was like, no, you're playing this riff. And I did not want to.
I'm glad you did, though.
Oh, me too.
It wouldn't have worked without it. Is there any particular lyric that really sticks out to you?
There's lyrics in a lot of our songs that do this for me because even though I write them in a certain rhythm and a cadence, Ryan usually will take what I wrote and he will make it more interesting or put like a different flavor to it when he records it or sings it in a different rhythm. And the one that always makes me smile in this song is the beginning of the second verse. The slow smoked embrace to perfection, another rack of proletariat ribs, because I wrote that in the exact same rhythm and cadence as the first verse. And you came in and you did the slow smoke.
Thank you.
But that part I always like, not even necessarily because of the lyrics, just because of the flavor you added to it that I did not expect.
Slow smoked, embrace to perfection, another rack of proletariat ribs. Bring on by that prosperous behind. And
No, you just mixed up the first two.
everyone's going to know how much of a dummy I am.
And they know that when we see you play at shows.
you need one of those teleprompters as a monitor.
On that song.
It's going to go so fast.
One word at a time.
Yeah. For the listeners.
No, but we'll have it like with the bouncing ball.
Town,
You know, so that
Banky
you can follow.
Blaine's Rocket.
For the listeners, Tigbot was miming that the lyrics would have to be going up and up the screen so fast at that point. I want to take this moment to apologize to anybody that saw our final show with the Deer Hunter at the Fillmore, where I forgot full verses to multiple songs and just stood on stage silently playing guitar, hoping that the lyrics would come to me. But the problem with some of our lyrics is that there's so many so quickly. And if I fumble and lose my place, I cannot remember where to come back in and start.
There's parts in our songs, especially in this song, where it's like if I mess up a part
on
and I
bass?
lose my fingering, I have to just wait for the next measure. 'cause I
Andrew's
just, like,
fingers fall off all the time.
That's why they're so short. They have to grow back. More so than most of the songs I've written a bulk of lyrics to, I am very proud of this one.
My least favorite part is the bridge, because those are the lyrics I wrote. So I think that they're lame.
Which part?
This can't be the way this ain't life. It's just survival. I don't feel like they have the same gravitas, energy. And they feel like a little bit too like, let's make this part of the song the emotional epic part of the song.
But people like that.
I think that part is great because of how it ends.
He loves it when it.
He likes it when it's over. Oh, thank
Well, no,
goodness.
because
Oh,
again-
because of the gunshot.
Yeah, going back to the retail worker metaphor, when I started working at Target, during my orientation, they played us a video that was like 25 minutes long about why unions are bad.
Oh my
And
goodness.
In my orientation. At the time, I was like, oh, this is bullshit. And I knew that, but I was a kid. I didn't care.
Andrew started working at Target when he was 4.
When we were writing this part, it was like this big emotional thing of him just being like, hey, you know, we can stop this if we all come together and stop fighting each other and start fighting them. And then at the end, they just shoot him and they're like, back to normal.
Yep.
And then in the last chorus, there's one line in the chorus that we change every time. And the last one I say is there's not an ending in sight or ain't an ending in sight because it's just this whole, I'm just like, it doesn't matter what you do.
It's so true.
Since that song has come out, that's been proven in real life so many times. Like there's been those stories of Starbucks stores have tried to unionize, and as soon as they do,
They just fire everybody there.
They shut the store down.
Yeah.
They've literally closed stores because their staff unionized.
If there's one thing I really like about America and living in the 21st century, it's corporate greed. I would really like to become a billionaire myself so that I could over everybody who doesn't make $1 billion. I'm ready to start a company and pay them poorly.
Can't wait to own properties and have them sit there empty because nobody can afford the rent.
What is that all about? We have all these really, really expensive apartments going up that I'm like, this is more than my house to live in this studio apartment. I don't know. I guess we don't need to go down the road about the economy, but to me, all of that is about corporate greed. That's just like profit for the sake of profit because you can't do anything about it. I think companies being landlords should be completely illegal.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know why they're able to come in and swoop in and buy houses and manage them and all that stuff. It's absolutely insane to me.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, like an example of somebody actually doing something nice, like not just caring about profit, is the Suns owner. I'm sure you heard about that.
Dude, I just benefited from these $2 hot dogs.
Yeah.
It was the best thing.
What would normally have cost a family of 4 like $100-something, now it costs like 20.
He's the best. He made it so that if you go to a Suns game at the arena, you can get a fountain drink for $2, bag of popcorn for $2, a hot dog for $2. And so I was able to like feed my whole family for like $20.
Yeah.
That's insane. The last time I went to an event at that arena, I spent $58 on 2 drinks for me and my wife.
What?
They were alcoholic drinks and they were doubles, but almost $30 each. That's insane.
This song has one of the only guitar solos I've ever played. I don't think I play a lot of guitar solos in our music. It was one of the things I worked hardest on before we went on tour because I was like, I'm never going to be able to play this guitar solo. And I proved that on tour. Constantly.
It's one of the funniest things, not for Ryan, I guess, that's happened to our band in recent years is Ryan wrote the majority of Jiminy with the assumption that we were going to hire a second guitar player to play a bunch of parts so he could focus mostly on singing live and playing rhythm parts. And we convinced him to be a 3-piece. And so now he has to play all these guitar parts that he never wanted to play and sing at the same time. And we made everything so much harder for him.
Yeah, luckily I don't sing during the solo. And it's not that it's a particularly difficult solo, but as I've mentioned on the podcast before, I'm not a very accomplished guitar player, in my opinion. I've been playing for 25 years, but I just never have pushed myself to improve past what I needed to do to write a song. So even when writing that guitar solo, it was like, oh, I can't play this. I need to get good enough to be able to record it, and then forgot about it because I was like, oh, I'm just going to have somebody else do it.
Shut up! Stop laughing at this. This is not a drill.
No jokes today, boogers. After 2 successful legs of the first tour ever tour, we're about to giddy up across the southern U.S. for leg 3, featuring Bear Ghost, Sarah and the Safe Word, and our best mates Redwood on all dates. We'll be in
Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arizona.
and it's only a couple weeks away.
Hello, humans. I interrupt this commercial to softly threaten you. Buy tickets to the 3HA Tour, or Tigbot will find and expose your internet search history. Don't tell Bear Ghost I'm doing this, or they'll turn me off.
Hey, head over to bearghost.com for tickets and more details. Additional dates may be added. Don't worry, East Coast, we're looking your way. Stay tuned. Now back to us.
Shut up!
At several points throughout our band's history, we have decided that we were going to make a music video. And every time we get into the almost pre-production phase and then stop. A lot of times it's a financial thing. Sometimes it's been disagreements with whoever we're working with and just not being able to get on common ground. But this song is the only song that I wrote a shot-for-shot treatment of. So I have a very vivid visual whenever I listen to this song of how everything's going. And I'm only telling this story so that I can tell you in my head canon, whenever I'm listening to this song, the guy that's talking about how great this place is Guy Fieri. I don't know why, but in my head, it's Guy Fieri every time. And if we ever made that music video, I wanted to make like a caricature of Guy Fieri.
Oh, I thought you were going
Oh, just get Guy Fieri. He'll do anything.
Oh, then in that case, I should ask him to play guitar for us.
He will.
He's got a cool rock star name.
And a cool rock star hairdo.
I don't. Have you guys been to Paradise Valley Burger?
No.
Guy Fieri ate there once, and it's all their branding. Like all their t-shirts, Guy Fieri ate here. They have a big like spray painting of him on the wall.
You know,
stuff
it's,
like that.
it's funny because he had a show called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives where he would go around the country and just stop at hole-in-the-wall places and eat there.
Then they'd build a restaurant around that hole in the wall.
He would give them like a stencil to spray paint his likeness and be like, Guy ate here or whatever. But that doesn't mean it was good. It just means it's a place that he stopped at to eat at. When Carla and I went to Maui, we went to this pizza cart. It wasn't even like a building. It was just like a cart in the middle of a parking lot. And it was on one of those episodes. And she's like, oh, I want to try this place because it was on this episode of Triple D. And I was like, okay. And we went there and I was like, this pizza sucks.
Triple D.
Yeah, Diners, Drive-Ins, and
Yeah.
Dives.
I know, but you guys are on a first name basis with diners.
We went to this place and I was like, hey, this pizza sucks. And then we went back and watched that episode, and Guy Fieri's such a positive dude that he's just like, oh, it's good. But like you can see like him and I think his son are on it and they're eating. They're just like, okay. They go out of their way to try to compliment this place. That's probably most of the places on that show.
Guy's got to eat, so it's like he might pull over on the side of the road and try out Billy's burrito toilet, and like, whoa, that doesn't
Hey,
mean
I like that place.
so did Guy. Since then, I've eaten at other places that Guy Fieri has also been to.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, since then I've eaten at places that he hasn't been to. It's like, God dang, right?
This is going to blow your mind. I've been to a lot of places he hasn't been to. Anyways, how do we get on Guy? Oh, because he's going to be the new guitar player for Bear Ghost in 2025.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I don't have anything else about barbecue.
Tangy, devil spit.
We dabbled a couple of years ago about making our own Big Town Banky Blaine's Rockabilly BBQ sauce. Remember when we decided we were going to put this song out? It had been almost a year since Sirens came out, but you know, COVID happened and the world fell apart. And we also put out our Christmas EP that year. And then we got all excited because our numbers were up. I just came to the realization that I'm like, as soon as Christmas happens, our numbers are just going to drop again because no one's going to want to listen to our Christmas songs in January. And so I was like, we should put out our next single on Christmas Day and make it like a Christmas present to everybody. And we did. And we had to rush mixing and mastering it and throw it out there. And I think we put it out before it should have been.
I definitely wanted to do it. I was like, okay, well, we should release a Christmas EP and release a song on Christmas. But Andrew is right. In order to get it done by Christmas time, we had to mix it and master it. And there are songs on the record that didn't come out exactly the way I would have imagined them. And sometimes it's not even that you think it sounds bad in the moment. You've been working on it so much that you get to thinking it sounds normal. And then after you spend some time away from it, you come back and go, whoa. And Barbecue is one of those songs to me where, especially the opening of it, I'm just like, this riff does not hit at all.
He's talking about fatigue for those of you who haven't done recording engineering or anything like that before, been in a room with that. When you're listening to the same song, sometimes the same part over and over and over again for hours and trying to tweak things, it all just starts to sound the same.
You kind of lose your ear for
you
it.
lose all the nuance. You can't discern differences in frequencies and stuff anymore after a while.
And I especially think that once you get into the verses, it sounds pretty good. Just the first riff and then the opening riff of the bridge, I just don't think that they hit. I think the rest of it's pretty good.
The song itself is just chaos, and the reception for it was as such.
Yeah, it was.
The first couple of days it was out, people were just like, what?
What are your thoughts, Buttons? Have you said anything on this episode?
The tempo. That was it.
Oh, the tempo, the double tempo.
Double tempo, yeah.
I thought it was going to be one of the hardest songs to play live, but when you're so far into the set, your adrenaline goes up and the song feels a lot slower when you get to it.
Right.
I don't know if that happens to you guys, but it happens to me a lot.
For sure.
It happens to us all the time.
When we're on the road, it feels a lot slower to me.
I get that with Star Killer on tour. did we lower the tempo of this by 40 BPM before we played it?
It's so tough. And I'm always getting anxiety on stage thinking that everybody thinks we're playing the song too slow. And I'm like, it's the exact tempo it is on the record.
Yeah.
So
I think this is the one song that we started a mosh pit with.
okay,
this
so
one?
let's talk about that. On our first headlining tour, we were playing in Pomona, and I made a joke about wanting to see the place go crazy, and then these people started a circle pit, but it was not a mosh pit. They were like do-si-doing, doing this little circular caravan that I ended up dubbing the Friendship Parade.
It was the least violent mosh pit ever. It was awesome.
It was adorable. And then I brought that up at pretty much every show after that, and some people would start a Friendship Parade and some people wouldn't. At our second to last show with the Deer Hunter, I did my spiel about wanting everybody to go crazy for the song and then forgot to mention the Friendship Parade part somehow. So an actual mosh pit. Yeah. But no, I didn't mention the Friendship Parade, so a mosh pit broke out. There's a lot of people out there that go to metal shows that are thinking, okay, so what? A mosh pit broke out. But it's not normal for a mosh pit to happen at a Bear Ghost show.
Yeah, and at that show in particular, we had like
A little girl
like
in the
an
front
8-year-old
row.
in the front.
Yes.
Yeah,
and so I kept not singing lyrics to be like, okay, everybody be safe. There's a girl in the front. Bright lights. Okay, guys, you need to calm down. Plebeian PB and fees. But she turned out to be okay, and she was having the time of her life.
Another touch that you added to this song was the red, white, blue fight thing.
I remember getting a lot of hate for that part online after the song released.
Really?
Yeah, people were like, what does this have to do with anything? Is this a Dr. Seuss reference? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, why? And I'm like, I don't know.
They're presenting this concept of this restaurant like it's normal. People just come down and have a nice night with your family and watch all the poor people fight each other, then eat them. And then you have this innocent little rhyme that's famous from a Dr. Seuss thing.
One fish, blue fish, red. Wait, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
Yeah, and then you tie it into being about U.S. capitalism.
Yeah. We actually did pay to have a mixer remix that song relatively recently. I mean, maybe we'll put it out on the just for the podcast and be like, what do you guys think? It's pretty modern rocky. We're talking like 70-year-old Sylvester Stallone.
Modern Rocky.
But now that the song is out, we won't write it again.
That's true.
I speak facts, bro.
I know it's been out for over 4 years at this point, but I would still like to do a music video for this song.
Andrew starts every band practice by lamenting that we didn't get to do a Big Time Banky Blaine's Rockabilly BBQ.
I even
music
had a
video.
location picked out for the shooting of it.
Your backyard does not count as a location.
It was perfect.
Hey, you want some food? I got it. I'm Billy, and this is Billy's Burrito Toilet. I got a grill or something. I'll cook you something and wrap it up, or whatever you want. I don't care. We're in that one field. You know that field? Someone left a perfectly good portage on there, so they made it into a restaurant. No brainer. It's probably clean. If you want to eat here, you got to bring a chair. I don't got any chairs. Well, I guess there's one chair. Devil's is a restroom. Billy's Burrito Toilet.
Tigbot.
Yes.
Questions, Discord.
Let me load them up. What's your favorite fan interaction?
I was getting a drink for you, Andrew, and this kid comes up to me. He's like, "Are you Buttons?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he just starts crying.
Wow.
I'm like, "What'd I do? I'm so sorry." And
What did I do? Are you hurt?
Yeah, he's.
He had a drumstick sticking out of his eye.
And I guess his dad came and was like, "Oh, he's, you're his favorite drummer and all this stuff." And I gave him a big hug. I'm like, "Hey, man, it's good. Let's talk for a little bit, And
That's why my drink took so long.
I wanted to cry too. I was like, "Oh my god!" He
He put a
started
drumstick
drumming.
in his eye.
I remember somebody came up to you and said they started playing bass because of you.
Andrew keeps breaking into people's houses and forcing them to start playing bass at gunpoint.
I can't help it. It's almost to a point now where I don't believe it anymore. The first time someone told me that, I lost my mind. When I was younger, scared them off. When I was younger and I first started playing, I was like, oh man, it'd be so cool if someday someone was just like, oh, you're the reason I started playing bass. I never thought it would happen. So the first time it happened, I was just so surprised.
It happens a lot, and I'm so
does.
proud of you for it.
But I don't know what to say, and I don't feel like I portray enough.
Try giving him a high five.
But some people don't like physical contact.
No, that's not true.
Okay. There's a moment that is burned into my memory. Someone came up and they were like, hey, will you sign my trans flag? Oh yeah, sure, that's cool. And we put it up on the wall and started signing it, and the whole room started cheering.
Yeah.
And it was just so heartwarming to hear the
was.
support.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It was
Very
genuinely awesome. In a cruel world, which we do live in, there is the possibility that these kids could have asked us to sign their trans flag and we could have told them to f off, which is not where we stand on these issues,
Or
just
that-
so everybody knows.
Or
But-
that we could have started signing it and people could have started heckling and saying
yeah, that would have sucked.
shitty things.
Yeah, but then we would have been like, we don't need you, guys. Seriously. We're not fostering that kind of environment.
No.
Now, on the other hand, if someone asked us to sign their American flag and we started doing that and people started booing, I'd be all about it. I'd be like, yeah! Favorite fan interaction is really difficult for me. I know it doesn't come off often, but I have a ton of social anxiety, and meeting the fans freaks me out. Not because there's anything wrong with any of them. I just feel the need to like present. A lot of times I don't walk away with a memory of what had just happened.
Because you're so kind of deep in your social anxiety.
I'm just like wired on trying to make sure I don't overspeak or underspeak, or that it looks like I'm making sure that they're getting what they want out of it.
I've got one. Remember that one time you were interacting with that fan, like you talked into it and it kind of gave you like a robot voice? You know?
Oh, man, that took me a long time to. Did you ever talk into a fan, Buttons? And it makes it sound like,
Yeah, when I was a kid.
It's such a bad joke, like a horrible dad joke. But no, it's not. Every time someone walks up to us and they're just like, "Oh man, I'm a huge fan," be like, "When did you become a human?" It goes through my head every time.
Meeting the fans has always been a genuine joy for me because people have had some very meaningful experiences listening to our music. All we ever wanted was somebody to find our music meaningful. It's kind of crazy that we write these goofy songs and we hide all of our meaning behind bullshit, and we still have people finding the meaning and telling us how impactful the songs are to them.
I've got another one for you. So speaking of things being impactful to people, would you guys be okay with allowing people to use your music for their animation?
I don't think I have any problem with that.
I don't think any of us have any problem with
I
it.
think we've even given somebody permission, and then later they're like, okay, so you told me I had permission and I used it and it got pulled off of YouTube. And I'm like, oh.
Fortunately for us, we have a wonderful manager who does a lot of our behind the scenes work.
I would venture to say he does all of our behind the scenes work.
Yeah, we don't do anything.
He writes the music.
He deals with stuff like that. And I think he used to have a link on our website that you could go fill out a thing and apply for that. I don't know how it works, but there's so many like AI algorithms now that if they recognize you're using licensed music, they'll just pull your thing off the internet. And I don't know. I don't
They
know. how to
changed
go-
the audio, I think.
Yeah,
So
personally, I don't know how to get around that, but I think I can speak for all of us just saying we use our music for whatever you want. I don't care.
yeah, just tag us or something. There's a feature where you can tag the artist that you're featuring in whatever 30-second clip.
Someone asked
or
on
whatever.
someone asked on the Discord a couple weeks ago, like, "Hey, I bought your album on Bandcamp a few years ago. Do you care if I like burn it to a
Burn it to a CD.
And I was like, "It's yours, man. You
still do
you
that.
bought it. Do whatever you want with it."
Yeah. Andrew likes to scream at our fans.
What is wrong with you? I always feel bad because I feel like we get questions on our Discord or our Reddit or something where people ask us things like this. They're like, "Oh, can I use this for my stream or can I use this for whatever?" And I'm just like, I don't care, but I don't know if it'll get pulled or not. I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
My younger brother is the strongest man in Arizona. This is not a joke.
Yeah, he literally just won a
He's
strong
twice your size, too.
He is now posting workout videos where he uses a Bear Ghost song in each one of them. And was like, dude, my song got pulled. Can't you do something about that? And I was like, maybe. I won't. I might be able to do something about it. Would you guys ever consider writing another song in the BTBBRBBQ universe?
The BBQ universe.
The BBQ universe?
Yes, I don't have any ideas of what yet, though. Our wonderful manager, Maddox, has called our fans like the citizens of Big Town and stuff like that. And I was like, there's something there, I think.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I thought about making little patches. Like, you know,
Andrew thinks really big.
Yeah, like iron on?
well, you know, like when you go to dumb souvenir shops and it's the wherever the hell you are thing.
Andrew also
you know,
hates souvenir shops.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez, man.
when you go to the airport and it's just, I love whatever the city I'm in.
City.
You love city.
That's the whole moral of the story.
Sounds great.
We gotta go.
Barbecue is all about going to city.
We need some stuff to wrap this up with.
Some paper towels, maybe.
Yeah, Saran.
Eminem.
Aluminium foil.
Okay, guys, this has been a behind-the-scenes look at the audacity that is Big Town Banky Blaine's Rockabilly BBQ. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Tune in next week where we will be talking about
Something else.
Anyways, this has been Bear Ghost Invents the Podcast, episode 40.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. We love you guys so
Big
much.
Town Banky Blaine's Barkabilly Barker.
Hey, everybody, thanks for listening. Special thanks to our Kickstarter backers. Next week, we're going to keep it rolling with our lottery winner, Sydney Pollock, and her song choice.
Hello.
Hi, can I help you?
Welcome.
Welcome. You came in here.
Why don't you take a seat?
I'm already sitting down.
Get comfortable.
Okay.
Relax.
I mean, you just kind of barged in here and...
Take a second if you need to.
Okay.
Now, what's bothering you?
Who are you?
Well, why don't we start at the beginning? Growing up, how was your relationship with the fundamentals of conscious existence? Did you have xenon orchid sinews spilling down the outer center of your blooming Escher Mandelbrot head? How about